The lady introduces herself as Lee Jimin and proceeds to ask our hero a question. Daesung walks over to the podium and Jimin asks if he knows any information about the gate, considering that he told his family not to evacuate. He tells her that he had no prior knowledge of the gate, but boasts about being powerful enough to stop any gate that appears. The reporters are all intrigued by this, but Chanho is afraid that his friend doesn't know how to choose his words wisely. A second reporter is picked out, and the guy wants to know the kind of enemy that Daesung fought at the gate since it was said to have no monsters. The protagonist tells the guy that he fought against a very strong eye, but the reporter is confused by his words. Daesung quickly rephrases and says he fought the enemy in the snow. Chanho takes the microphone and tells the reporter that the identity of the enemy is still confidential, so he'll have to wait for the association's announcement. However, this reporter is very persistent. He then asks if there's any loot to prove that the gate wasn't truly empty. Daesung puts his hand inside a dimensional pocket and decides to show all of them what he got inside the gate. He brings out the crystal and tells them that it's an S-class awakening core. The reporters lose their minds after hearing him and start scrambling to publish such big news. Seo Yang, who's also watching the conference from her home, is surprised by how massive the core is. Changsik, along with the other S-rank hunters, are also baffled to see the awakening core. Haran states that it's her first time seeing the item. The scene pans over to Young Ho and the branch manager, who are short of words while watching the press conference as well. Young Chil is also excited to hear this because he gets to mock those who said that the gate was empty. Daesung holds the crystal in Choyoung's direction, who nervously looks at it and wonders why the vice leader is pointing it at her. Our hero then offers her a chance to return as a hunter. He tells the room that he will be testing out the core immediately. Choyoung then realizes that the main aim of the press conference is to use her as a lab rat. He reveals to her that he told Junyoung that he would fix her and have her work for him. Choyoung's hands are shaking nervously, but she quickly accepts the opportunity and vows to repay the favor. As she accepts the crystal, a blinding light fills the room, causing the reporters to shield their eyes. The system window appears and asks if the Demon King would like to register Choyoung as his servant. He accepts the request, and the crystal fully integrates itself into Choyoung's body. After the process, she starts to feel the aura back in her body, although it's a bit different from what she previously used. The reporters are filled with confusion and amazement when they see that the awakening is real. They start trying to measure it and figure out how much one of the crystals will cost. Chanho nervously looks over at Choyoung, who has been rebirthed as an S-class hunter. He wonders if this is a step forward in making the Daesung clan the strongest in the world. Over at the hospital, Dongshul's door is filled with sticker notes from the orphanage kids who are hoping that he will wake up soon. Inside the ward, the kids are begging him to wake up. The sister tries to calm them down and stop them from crying. The door suddenly opens, and she sees Daesung walk into the room. The kids quickly recognize our hero and wonder what he's doing there. It seems the hospital forgot its policies because the swarm of reporters followed the protagonist into the ward. There, he offers Dongshul something greater than the 400 billion he requested before going into a coma. The newscasters are eager to see what will happen. Changsik and Haran walk into the room, and Haran tells the reporters to get out of her way. They both walk up to Daesung, who is holding up the crystal at Dongshul's bed. The two hunters are overwhelmed by the immense power of the crystal, and they wonder if their friend is going to come back to life. Our hero then declares to show them the revival of an S-class hunter. At Seoyeon's apartment, she is trying her best to revive her creepy doll, but things aren't going well. To save the doll, she needs a stronger medium from her master. The magic circle on the ground feeds the doll with power, but it's not enough to bring it back to life. She makes up her mind to move out quickly and find her master. Back at the hospital, the little kids and the nun are taken aback as the director's body starts to levitate. The system window pops up in Daesung's face, and he accepts to register Dongshul as a servant. The director's clothes are ripped off in the process as the power surges through his body. The reporters are all flashing their cameras in order not to miss a moment of this resurrection process. After that, Daesung declares that the day's event has come to an end. He quickly teleports out of the room, leaving everyone else bewildered. At that moment, Dongshul's eyes come alive, and his body lands back on the bed. He quickly takes a defensive stance, believing he is still in the middle of his last fight, but his friends end up laughing at him. The director wonders how he's not yet dead, and they tell him that he has come back to life. He admits that he feels some changes after being reawakened as an S-class hunter. He then proceeds to the more important matter by asking why he's suddenly naked. At Daesung's family apartment, his family is shocked to see Seoyeon at their door. The Fortress Clan kid came to see her master, and she brought a lot of gifts with her. However, our hero's mother tells her that her son has gone off to work. Jisoo looks down at the shopping bags and tells her mom that they're filled with expensive shoes. Her mother feels the gifts are too much, but Seoyeon lets her know that it's a token of gratitude since her son saved her from the illness she had. In the process, the Fortress Kid refers to her as godmother, shocking the woman with her statement. On the other hand, Jisoo is helping herself through the bags, and she brings out a limited edition pair of sneakers. She tells Seoyeon how much she really likes it, and even starts referring to the creepy kid as her sister. After that, Seoyeon decides to ask her master's sister for a favor. Jisoo is confused and ends up misinterpreting the situation, but Seoyeon explains that it's not what she thinks. The creepy servant then tells her master's sister that she needs a medium from Daesung that has a lot of concentrated demonic energy. She also says that the medium is something that is usually in the men's room, further putting the wrong kind of thoughts in Jisoo's head. Our hero's sister quickly declines and tells the girl to ask for a different favor. Seoyeon stops her for a moment and tells her to look at a piece of paper before making any hasty decisions. As soon as Jisoo sees the paper, she realizes that it's a ticket to a pop concert that can't be easily acquired. At this moment, Jisoo is struggling between being a good sister and being a loyal fangirl. Seoyeon further entices her by saying that her favorite member, JK, is a member of her Fortress clan. For the kid to go this far, Daesung's sister sees how desperately she wants the medium. With no choice, Jisoo accepts her request in return for getting the ticket to the concert. The two girls start to let out tears of joy as both their dreams will soon come true. Seoyeon assures the spirit of her ugly doll that he can be resurrected and awakened. At the Daesung clan headquarters, Dongchul and Choyoung are sparring in the training room and showing off their newly awakened abilities. The two S-class hunters are going at it with everything they have, and it's a spectacle to watch such a heated fight. Chano is impressed by the incredible results and asks Daesung if there's any awakening core left for him to use. However, our hero reminds the guy that he is meant to work in the office and not out in the field. While watching the two reawakened hunters, the group leader remarks that the Daesung clan is now the top clan in Korea with these two hunters as their members. Regardless, Daesung feels their skills are not enough to take on the Hans group. The group leader is still going off about how he won't be able to show off his awakened abilities because there haven't been any gates recently. While watching the hunters train, Daesung thinks about leveling up himself as well. He gets back to his family home, and they welcome him. He wonders why his sister is being so nice, and even says that her eyes resemble those of the monsters in the gate. Jisoo gets repulsed by his remarks and angrily walks off, but it doesn't change the fact that he suspects that the girl is up to something. He then heads off into the shower to wash off the stress of the day. While drying off his hair, his sister sneaks past him and quietly opens the door to the bathroom. Seeing that her brother didn't notice her, she wonders if he really is an S-rank hunter. However, he suddenly pops up behind her, nearly giving the poor girl a heart attack. She screams in fear, and Daesung asks her why she's going into that bathroom when she clearly has one in her room. Jisoo then lies by saying that she was asked to clean the house by their mother. Daesung has no idea what she's talking about, but she slams the door in his face, leaving him perplexed about the situation. While inside the bathroom, Jisoo tries to catch her breath. In her mind, she regrets doing this to her brother. All because of some pop star group. An idea pops into her head, and she braces herself to search for the medium. The next day, Seoyeon and Jisoo meet up at a coffee cafe. Jisoo hands over an envelope and asks her brother's servant to check if the contents are right. Seoyeon gets really excited when she sees the aura emanating from the envelope. Jisoo tells her that she scraped it all from the bathroom, so it will be a good amount to use as a medium. She then asks the hunter for the ticket. With the amount of energy Seoyeon is seeing from the envelope, she feels her doll will be revived with a super awakening. She then hands over the ticket to Jisoo, who's lost in thought about how she'll get to meet JK. The two girls are satisfied with each other's services and continue to talk for some time. Moments later, Seoyeon heads back home and begins the process of resurrecting her Chucky doll. She invokes the name of the demon god and asks the being to bless her toy with his powers. Meanwhile, the protagonist starts to sense something creepy while hanging out with Chonho. After some time, the doll is imbued with a lot of demonic power, and its eyes finally come alive once more. Seoyeon looks at her precious doll and is glad to see that it is back. She rushes to hug Chucky, but the ugly toy slaps her away. Chucky starts to call her master an idiot for delaying his resurrection all this while. Talk about an ungrateful piece of garbage. He starts stomping on her head and vowing that he will stain the world with blood. On the other hand, Seoyeon has no idea why her doll is acting so deranged and stupid. It probably runs in the family. Anyway, after some time, she manages to subdue the creepy toy by impaling it with some rods. She admits that she didn't discipline Chucky well enough, so now she plans to smack some respect into the spoiled demonic brat. However, her phone starts buzzing when she gets a call from her master. She gets really excited, like a kid who just got some candy. Moments later, she appears in the Pantheon along with Dongchul and Choyoung. The two reawakened hunters are confused as to how they got there. but Seoyeon looks to her master and asks what kind of devilish place they'll be visiting this time. Daesung lets the two reawakened hunters know that they are far too weak. Dongchul and Choyoung are short of words because they know this is true. The protagonist then tells them that they have to level up considerably. He gets interrupted by his most annoying servant, who tells him that she has something to show him. She then pops out the demonic doll on the floor. Chucky isn't too happy about being called ugly, but what else can you call this repulsive-looking toy? Seoyeon then tells her master that the doll is their child. This girl has definitely let her fantasies run amok for too long. As you'd expect, Dongchul and Choyoung are left speechless by this, and wondering if our hero and the crazy kid actually decided to procreate. To make things worse, Chucky gets up and refers to Daesung as his dad. Suddenly the doll starts running towards him, but Daesung smacks the foolish thing away before it lays its hands on him. Seoyeon picks up her child and tries to bring the poor kid back to his senses. The protagonist is sick of the girl and has no idea how she came up with something so crazy. The other two hunters are still left speechless about the whole matter. Daesung quickly changes the topic by saying that it's time to raise the might of the Daesung clan. He recreates the Lord Spider Queen's territory, and the scenery changes to a thick forest, while Dongchil is trying to figure out how they moved so quickly. Choyoung brings out her guns because she can sense enemies around. A system interface then appears to them and tells them that they can check their status through the View command. Seoyeon and the rest access it and see their occupations and stats. The whole thing is still confusing Dongchul, and he asks Daesung if he's a ghost who can travel through different places. Seoyeon, who feels like they're senior in this situation, tells them that they're in the Hell Training Center and they need to be prepared. Choyoung keeps herself alert when they suddenly get approached by a horde of spiders. Daesung then tells them that they have to survive until the time limit is up. A rush of excitement runs through Dongchul's body, and he can't wait to get some action. The girls also brace themselves for the battle, and our hero signals everyone to begin. The spiders charge and leap straight at the hunters without a second thought. Meanwhile, Young-ho is reading through the trending topics of the news. He then takes note of a headline talking about the reawakening of Dongchul and Choyoung. The landline beeps with a message, saying that the branch manager is requesting to see him. The manager enters the office, and the association head asks him what the situation is. The guy then tells the old man, there is an emergency call from the World Hunters Association. They've announced that they'll hold the World Hunter Federation meeting in Korea, and the association wants to invite Daesung. Young-ho then asks for the list of attendees, and the branch manager hands it over. The old man is bewildered when he hears that the world's #1 hunter, Aslan Anderson, will be attending the meeting. Not only is Aslan the world's #1 hunter, Jung-ho also remarks that he is the association president's younger brother. Over at the presidential office, President Lee Kang-cheon meets with Jung-ho. While sipping a cup of tea, Jung-ho reminds Kang-cheon that it's been a while since they dissolved their clan. Kang-cheon tells the old man that being the president is way better than his post as the association's chairman. After the two men catch up, Jung-ho decides to go straight to the point. He tells the president about the letter stating that the World Hunter Federation will be held in Korea. Kang-cheon is surprised to hear that such an event is being held in the country with no conditions. However, his old friend tells him that they have to be quiet about the Hans group in the meantime. He reminds the president how a gate is like a gold mine for the nation. The gates are necessary for the country's economic situation, and if the ether core dissipates, the country's power supply will collapse. Jung-ho is angry at the fact that Darren doesn't want to bear the responsibility if the Hans group should show up. He feels that the president is overconfident due to the fact that his younger brother is Aslan. In addition, Kang-cheon says that the United States will unofficially be monitoring the current situation. He then asks Jung-ho how they will maintain the economic development and safety of the citizens. Jung-ho suggests that they prepare the highest rank medal, which is our hero. If they have Daesung, they won't need to be envious of nuclear weapons. The president agrees with this plan and says that the protagonist must attend the Federation Conference as a representative of Korea. The association head offers to handle the matter concerning our hero. The scene shifts to Daesung and Chonho, who are talking about the medal that was offered to our hero. The group leader explains that it's the highest rank medal and not something regular. However, Daesung feels like it's going to be used as a dog collar to keep him in check. Due to that, he refuses to go to the conference. Chonho lets him know that the government is also offering to reduce his taxes and give him better pensions. This is a really big benefit for our hero, and this offer manages to pique his interest. After hearing that he'll be getting 30% of the revenue, he agrees to go ahead with the conference. Chonho also lets him know that they were the first to be informed about the Federation Conference, but Daesung has no idea what the conference even is. The group leader explains that it's basically an event where world rankings are announced. Daesung doesn't want to go for something so boring, but the medal awarding ceremony will also be held at the Federation Conference. The thought of going to an event for just a medal makes him even more upset. After that, Chanho asks him where the other hunters are, and Daesung tells him that they are currently training. Over in the Hell Training Center, Seoyeon is giving the spiders a good smackdown. She activates an ability to significantly slow them down, allowing Chucky to take his role as a deranged killer. The crazy doll jumps on the spider's back and starts yapping about how they're a bunch of insignificant creatures. At that moment he pierces his blade through its exoskeleton, leaving the poor creature screaming for help. Choyoung then pops out with her guns and lays waste to all the enemies in her path. Her attack pierces through and manages to freeze the spiders in place. Dongchil then rushes out and lands the final explosive blow to decimate the monsters. He uses a magnetic field to round them up and his lightning strike to deliver the killing blow. He repeats the same combo until all the spiders have been dealt with. After the fight, the director compliments Choyoung's ice attacks, and she returns the favor by speaking on how impressive his destructive attacks are. A system message shows up and Seoyeon lets them know that it's time to defeat the boss spider. Meanwhile, Daesung is sadly browsing through gate prices, but they've all dried up. If things continue as they are, he'll return to his broke ways. Youngchil then bursts into the room and tells the bald man that the Hunter Federation conference will be held in Korea. However, the old fool doesn't see how this benefits them. The young streamer explains that if they represent themselves as the exclusive Porter clan of the Daesung clan, they'll receive a lot of requests and will be able to expand globally. The thought of this is able to make Daesung quite interested in the plan. Youngchil also tells him that our hero's rank will also be announced during the conference. With this, they are bound to get attention as the Porter clan as well. The old man decides to take this opportunity and stop sulking like a poor loser. Seeing that Daesung is in on the plan, Youngchil then asks him to help film some content during the Federation conference. Daesung agrees and decides to talk to Chanho about it. Meanwhile, over in Darren's office, he tells his guest that they're holding the Federation conference in Korea as they requested. The guest is then revealed to be the female bishop, Karina, of the Hans group. Karina places an ominous cube on the table, and Darren immediately recognizes it as a gate cube. Karen stands to take her leave and tells him to take his organization and hide inside the gate. He turns to her and asks what she plans to do, and while fading away, she tells Darren that she's going to do what he truly desires. As her body dissipates, the association president hears her saying that she's going to engage in population control. After that, her presence completely leaves the room. Darren then heads over to his table to make a call. The person on the line picks up, and he tells the guy to gather all their members because a disaster is about to begin. Later on, we see a plane touchdown at the Incheon International Airport. Reporters are gathered all around the entrance and waiting for the esteemed guests to show themselves. S-class hunters from all around the world start trooping out one after the other as they make their way into the entrance. It's the first time that so many top hunters have come together. One of the newscasters is saying that their goal is to visit Aslan, who is ranked as the first among them. Reporters and spectators all around start flashing their cameras as soon as they see Aslan making his appearance. Everyone's attention turns to the entrance doors as they wait for the top dog to walk in. The #1 hunter in the world isn't what you'd expect. The guy is nothing but an actual clown with all that makeup, and it seems the circus didn't want him either. Either way, he makes his presence known, and the spotlight is all around him. At our hero's home, his mother can't believe how handsome he's looking. While having his tie adjusted, Daesung didn't think that his mother would be so excited for the event. Jisoo calls out to her mom and complains about not being able to find the dress that Seoyeon gifted her. While the mother heads over to help, Daesung's phone starts buzzing. He picks up the call from Chanho, who tells him that the car is ready and he should come down with his mom. Over at the Federation conference venue, the flags all around are painted with the faces of different S-class hunters, including our hero. Youngchil starts his stream and lets his viewers know that he's at the venue where the best hunters from all over the world are gathering. He promises to give them the best view of the event more than anyone else can. Inside the venue, the hunters are all seated with their family members and waiting to be addressed. Our hero is seated with his mother and Chanho, but he looks like he can't wait to leave. One of the hunters, dressed in a black suit, looks over to the protagonist and wonders if he is the Daesung he's heard about. A guy from the World Hunter Association then walks up to the stage and introduces himself as Michael Jang. He then tells everyone that he will be the host for the meeting. Jang then welcomes President Lee Kangxian to perform the medal award ceremony. Daesung's family is amazed to see the president, and his sister wonders if Kangxian will personally give the medal to her brother. As the crowd applauds the president, Jang asks Daesung to come up to the stage, trust our hero's family to cheer him on and embarrass the poor guy as he approaches the stage. When he gets there, Kangxian formally awards him with the medal and asks the hero to protect Korea. Daesung is confused, but the president tells him to carry on as he has been doing before. After that, They both stand to take pictures, while the crowd continues to applaud them. Regardless, Daesung still feels like he has a dog collar around his neck. On the other hand, his family is very proud of him and the feat he has accomplished. Yongchil is also spilling tears of joy for some awkward reason and giving his subscribers a good view. As our hero walks back to his seat, the cameras keep flashing on him, and the applause continues. He gets stopped by the creepy-looking Aslan, who congratulates him on his award. However, Daesung has no idea who the clown is and asks him for his identity. Aslan introduces himself in a funky style, further making himself look like a weirdo. He expects the protagonist to be amazed, but Daesung just walks off to get away from him. Suddenly Aslan's wristwatch starts beeping with a bright red color. The other black-haired hunter gets up with urgency and tells Daesung that an S-class dungeon has appeared in Tokyo. But it's not only there. All the other hunters are thrown into a wild panic as they all get notifications about S-rank gates appearing in different parts of the world. Zhang is completely baffled by the sudden turn of events. Ki Hong walks up to the stage and tells him about what's happening all over the world. Due to this, he suggests that they stop the Federation meeting. Daesung, who has that dog in him, seems to be the only calm person in the whole room. While being lost in his thoughts, he wonders if the Hans group is making their move. He goes into the Pantheon world, where he is welcomed by his fairy. He tells the fairy to open the heavenly shop. The golden shop with unique items then manifests before Daesung. He quickly purchases the future journal, and it starts writing about the events that will take place soon. As the journal is writing, he asks why Korea has been excluded from all the places where gates have appeared around the world. He wonders if his enemies are trying to avoid him. The scene switches to the streets of the United States of America. There, the roads are busy, and the citizens are going about their peaceful day. Suddenly a monster shows up, causing panic and fear in the eyes of the people around. As the horrendous beast looks down at the humans, they quickly start running for their lives. Sadly for them, more of these frightful beasts show up, blocking their escape. The humans pray to God to save their lives, but it looks hopeless as more monsters rain down from the gate in the sky. Over in the city of Tokyo, the destruction and chaos are already taking place. A horde of wolf monsters is seen running through the streets and causing destruction. A hunter leads the monsters to an ambush point, where he signals his partner to blow up the place. An explosion goes off, causing blue smoke to fill the air around. While the beasts are caught up in it, the hunter dives down and signals for the hunt to begin. Some other hunters clad in ninja attire join him and start attacking the monsters. They are able to take down one of the monsters, but one wolf senses where the attacks are coming from and quickly leaps into the air. It bounces off the buildings and reaches the rooftop where the hunters are. A poor guy is about to be devoured, but a subordinate appears and uses his sword to annihilate the beast. The wolf's severed head hurls past the nearly killed hunter while he is still stunned. After that, the young man thanks his captain Tetsuka for saving his life. Tetsuka gazes at the gate in the sky and is troubled because if the monsters keep pouring out, the city will be annihilated. Back in Washington, the city is in ruin, and hunters are utterly defeated. A struggling hunter tries to crawl to safety, but a troll steps on him, squashing his body in the process. As the monster basks in its victory, it suddenly gets sliced in half by another hunter who is wielding photon blades. One of them suggests that they retreat and join Aslan in order to try and counterattack the monsters. The commander then yells for everyone to head back to Philadelphia. Meanwhile, at the Hunter Association headquarters, the branch manager is watching all the chaos that's unfolding in different parts of the world. He notes that South Korea is still unaffected by the multiple gate fractures that have spawned everywhere. His assistant then tells him that other countries are requesting Korea's help since they are unaffected by the dilemma. The situation is tight for the manager because he wonders how he'll handle things if a gate suddenly appears in Korea. He wonders if sending the local hunters is a feasible option. He then refers to the lady as Kim Ah-hyung and asks her how the S-class hunters who attended the conference are doing. She tells him that Japan's Tetsuka and China's Cheon Young-woo have joined the combat through aircraft. The remaining American and European hunters will soon join the combat. The manager's phone starts ringing and he sees that Chanho is calling him. When he picks up, the clan leader tells him to gather all the S-class hunters for a meeting with the Daesung clan. Meanwhile, see Aslan walking through a random street while his country is in a crisis. Typical clown behavior. He whips out his phone to take a picture and states that he's in the Bukshan-Hanak village. Two guys walking by notice him and wonder why he's not helping America at the moment. Aslan turns to them and asks that they take a picture of him. The two guys agree, and he thanks them with a creepy smile. The scene then shifts to the Daesung clan building, and we see all the S-rank hunters who are gathered to hear from our hero. Daesung takes the helm by opening the floor to discuss how they'll deal with the Hans group. Chanho doesn't understand what the hero means by the resurrection of the Titan. The branch manager also wonders if the aliens are the people who created the gate fractures. Daesung explains that the gate is an altar itself, and the people are being used as sacrifices in it. To confirm all that has been said, Changsik asks if the Titan will be revived when the amount of sacrifices is complete. However, Heron chips in by saying that they can only assist one country at most because of how much time it will take to travel. Han Ul places a gate cube on the table, showing it to everyone else. Dong Chol then says that the cube resembles the Absolute Protector. Han Ul goes ahead to explain that he did some research on the cube with Dr. Dong Hyuk. During their tests, they successfully transformed the cube into a teleportation device capable of traveling between continents on Earth. He says that Junyoung is currently traveling and placing different cubes at key locations. Dongchul starts complaining like a little brat because he feels they should be out fighting monsters instead of attending a meeting. Heron suggests that they move together with the elite hunters of each clan. But Han Ol tells her that the teleportation cube can't move a large number of people yet. The branch manager doesn't see how this helps their situation. However, he gets very shocked when Daesung says that everyone in the room will move together with him. The man tries to tell him that it'll be bad for them if a gate fracture appears in South Korea. The protagonist turns his attention to the system window, which shows him the details of a Wraith swap ability. It basically allows him to switch positions between a Wraith and the caster. The clan leader then remembers how his friend showed up at the research center with a unique ability. Daesung explains that he can easily send Chonho to the problematic area and bring him back with this ability. The hunters are all amazed by this and can't believe just how overpowered this guy is. Considering how this matter concerns both international assistance and domestic safety, the branch manager feels Daesung will be able to kill two birds with one stone. He then tells the protagonist to commence with the operation. Daesung gets ready to head out with everyone, but he is interrupted by Seoyeon. Rather than saying something important, the annoying kid suggests that they come up with a cool team name like the Avengers. Heron mocks her for thinking of something so stupid during an important meeting. Daesung decides to indulge his servant, and he tells her to say the name she's thought of. She suggests the name K-Cats. Cho-young remains silent on this, but she thinks it's a cute name. Everyone else remains silent. Daesung agrees with the stupid name so that they can hurry up and get going. The scene shifts to the Shandong province in China. There, a horde of menacing minotaurs are seen walking through the streets. A group of hunters form a blockade and get ready to fire upon the monsters. On the signal, the arrows are sent flying through the skies, and they come raining down on the beasts. Despite being impaled by arrows, the minotaurs charge forward until they are met with the frontline hunters. The young hunters are nervous to face such terrifying beasts. They try to boost their morale by yelling at the monsters to come at them. The battle begins with hunters getting sent flying through the air like pesky flies. As a minotaur is about to cleave the head of a soldier in front of him, a female hunter leaps through their heads and reveals herself. She uses an ability known as Heavenly Dragon's Form to strike down a multitude of monsters at the same time. As the dust clears up, she tells the warriors to stand strong for their country. The soldiers take up their arms and follow leader Cheon. At the same time, the horde of minotaurs continues to charge at them. Jin Rong is watching the battle from China's association headquarters, and he wonders if this will be the end of his precious country. The department head known as Jin Long walks in to give him some news. She tells him that Korea will support them with 7 S-rank hunters, provided that some conditions are met. From the letter, he sees that Korea is requesting ownership of all the byproducts and ether cores from the defeated monsters. If the countries oblige with their request, they will support them immediately. Over at the Korean Association headquarters, the branch manager gets reports about different countries that have accepted their conditions. The man then tells Young to relay the information to the newly formed K-Hunters. It seems the name K-Cats is way too stupid to be used formally. Back in China, the streets are in ruins and dead hunters can be seen everywhere. The minotaurs have managed to slaughter most of them, but Yang Will reminds them that she's still alive and breathing. They charge towards her, and she braces herself with what little strength she has left. Suddenly the monster is decimated before her eyes, and she sees that the Korean hunters have come to help. Daesung looks at the gate and notices the horde of monsters that are pouring out. Heron uses her healing skills on Youngwoo, while Changsik speeds past her to take on the monsters. She tells the Chinese hunter to take a break and allow them to handle things in the meantime. The Korean hunters then start pulling out their nice skills. Seon uses her ability to turn the ground into a sticky glue, trapping the monsters. Cho-young uses her magic bullets to freeze the minotaurs as well, while Changsik slices through them with his blades. Dongchul comes in with his lightning storm as well and completely annihilates the beasts with his overwhelming destructive powers. With most of the monsters defeated, Han Ol uses his robot spiders to harvest their ether cores and put them in a container. With this, they can resolve the ether core supply by procuring them on site. An explosion suddenly goes off behind him, and he sees the S-class Minotaur King, Ognos. The huge flames and the monster's menacing aura are enough to intimidate Changsik and Dongchul.